So tonight, we've talked about how our personal life has been transformed and revolutionized. We've talked about the way we work and how that is changing. I want to go into the next section, which is how is this going to impact the way we play? So gaming and entertainment is really entering one of its most creative periods in history. As a kid, I got to play with Legos and blocks. There were no gaming consoles and online gaming. But today's kids have all of that and probably less of the Legos and blocks. So what we've done is we've reimagined that. We've reimagined how kids play. We've combined the technology of RealSense, the 3D technology you've seen throughout this presentation, so that kids can have an amazing, immersive playtime experience. So I'd like to take a look at one of these games, and let's look now at Scavenger Bot. Chuck, maybe if you could just talk to us a little bit about Scavenger Bot and just what it does.
So Brian, you've talked about some great processors today and some 3D digital cameras. I'd like to show you what happens when you combine both those things into a tablet to change the way you play.
Okay.
So I have a tablet here, and I'm going to actually scan in a sandbox, much like the one I had when I was a child. Now, with this sandbox, and I'm scanning it in, I'm actually moving it from the real world into my tablet, moving it from the real world into my 3D digital play space, so to speak. So now I've got a sandbox that I used to play with that was real, but now I've got both. So I've got a friend here. I call him Scavenger Bot. Let's bring him in. Not the greatest landing, but he's still safe here. Now I'm going to apply Scavenger Bot up to these blocks in the back here. And you'll see, notice his vapor trail and his shadow, how they behave just like they would in the real world. I can zoom in on him. Amazing. Look at his shadows. Now, I'm going to fly him over to this little valley right down here. Again, look at his vapor trail, look at his shadows. You'll see him land. And remember, this digital sandbox is exactly like my sandbox in front of me. So when I change my perspective and I move away, he becomes obscured just like he would in the real world.
Wow.
So now I'm going to move him to the top here. You're going to see him fly on up. Now, you might be wondering, how long did it take me to program this in? What happens if my kid sister comes, messes it up? Well, first off, let me show you what it looks like to my robot. You can see I've got a lunar planet that my robot's playing in. But we can adjust that easily. So, tell you what, why don't you go ahead and throw some of those blocks and,
I want to prove to people that this is a live demo, not something made up. So I'm just going to put the blocks in here wherever I can get them to stand. And I'm going to take, I don't know about you guys, but in all of my rooms, there's always laundry laying around. So we're going to take some old dirty laundry, throw that on the game as well, and see what happens.
So I'm going to turn on Scavenger Bot's scanner here, and he's going to learn his new world. So he's going to rotate around a little bit, let him see all the good stuff. And then before, remember, where you put that blocks, we kind of had a valley before, but now if we look at it, we got some brand new mountains, we got some hills, and if we move him around, you'll see that he actually has to fly over those things, just like he would in the real world. So again, our Scavenger Bot has learned a brand new world. We have all these infinite adventures. We're only limited by the number of blocks and apparently the dirty laundry we've got laying on stage.
That's amazing, Chuck. It's just an amazing game. Thanks for showing us that. So this is where we believe gaming is headed. No longer are you limited to that flat screen with a game that you just have in front of you. That you can create the environment. You're part of the environment. Endless imagination.